Today there is a strange, bare-headed collector, barefoot, walk to make the journey wish. From Nha Trang to the north, then circle back to the starting point. Under the sun and wind, his skin turned black bare feet with worn heels. The journey only includes a vase made from the core, rice cooker, needle and thread, along with a few pieces of burlap picked up to add to your clothes when resting. He doesn't preach the Dharma, accept no offerings, and point to no one give alms. Food is accepted. He also doesn't talk about himself, but only when asked will they share. Very honest about my practice journey. No one know who he is. I only know that he called himself Minh Tue. Some people were touched. When you see him walking on the street, you clasp your hands in greeting, giving him food and drink. Some people said he was crazy, a crazy person who behaved strangely like no other. Some people said he was a true monk in the midst of the end of Dharma, a monk. Monks and temples became places to trade gods and sell Buddhas. But there are also people who believe that he is a fake monk, not a monk, but uses the Dharma name, Thich, and that he actually had a whole crew following him, staged images posted on social networks. Some people expressed their respect and admiration, even worshipped him as a living Buddha. But there are also many critics laughed at, doubted, and even slandered. So what is the truth about Mr. Minh Tue? According to information shared on social networks, Mr. Minh Tue was born in 1981 in Hà Tĩnh, in a family with 6 brothers. After graduating from NGUYện Agricultural University, he joined the army and then became a civil servant with the position of head of the district cadastral department in Gia Lai, Đắk Lắk during his working time. He also learned about Buddhist scriptures, although life was initially quite favorable, but one day he decided to give it all up to find the path of practice. According to the division share with Buddhists, it was a chance when he decided to practice at a temple in Đắk Lắk. However, after a few months there, he realized that the environment is not suitable for your practice and made a vow to follow chase, the practice method, alms. Please repeat, the above information only is to share on social networks not yet verified, so you should just consider it as reference. So we know that Mr. Minh Tue chose. The method of practice is pedestrian and ascetic. First of all, walking is a familiar tradition in Buddhism. It's not strange for a practitioner to do it in history. Right from the time Buddha was still alive, he was with his students beg for alms everywhere. To this day, there is still a sect like that called the mendicant sect. So Mr. Minh Tue's method is nothing special, but nothing outlandish. Second, Handa first, or asceticism, is also a familiar and popular Buddhist practice. That is, wearing patched clothes on the day of eating a dinner, sleep under trees, or in abandoned houses and cemeteries, and do not accept offerings, refuse all comforts and enjoyments. In countries that follow Theravada Buddhism, no one is unfamiliar with this. In short, Mr. Minh Tue is not the first or the last implement method that practice not special, his cultivation methods suggest to us, a closer look at the life of Buddha and Sangha in the past. That's why the comments are negative. Criticism is not just ignorance, but also a negative attitude, show jealousy and discrimination. I have never met Mr. Minh Tue before, but look carefully at some clips online, then see he has been practicing correctly according to Dao Da conduct. His face looked thin and dark, but very bright. Simple and rustic way of speaking. Sincere and very humble talk to anyone. He also claimed to be his son. Don't preach anything high. Super the mystery of Buddhism, if anyone. That asks about the method of practice. He always talked about keeping the precepts. That is very true to Buddha's teachings, because the path of liberation is precepts, dharma, wisdom. To the sometimes too respectful gestures of people, he always humbly responded, never claimed to be a teacher, and always say, "I'm studying." So the reason why a mendicant is on the path of study, haven't realized much yet, became a phenomenon, again, respected by so many people. Respect. In my opinion, the basic reason is because he kept the precepts live modestly and do not accept money, do not accept food. Offering alms at alms bowl was full of food, take up self-cultivation, improve one's spirit work for the ultimate goal of enlightenment, freeing the simple image of Mr. Minh Tue, suggests to us reminiscent of the image of the Buddha's Sangha. 2,600 years ago, when begging for alms, it becomes even more beautiful. It's impressive, considering the situation. Buddhism in our country now, there are problems that need to be considered. Think more than 2,500 years ago. Buddha Shakyamuni prophesied that humanity will enter the end of the world, meaning humans don't. There is still dharma in the mind to motivate yourself, dare to do anything. Dare to do any bad thing. Violation leading to increasingly deteriorating morality. Nowadays, people saw an unusual phenomenon. It is unprecedented when spiritual projects covering thousands of hectares of land appear, set all kinds of records, gathering in all possible ways while traditional Buddhism. Our country does not have such large pagodas, newly built temples located in spiritual communities, hundreds of thousands of hectares wide. Often combined with tours, so it is also called spiritual tourism in those projects. The spiritual area only occupies one area extremely humble compared to the overall project for rest service areas. Entertainment. For example, the Bai Din area has an area of 1,700 hertz, but the temple complex only occupies an area of 80 hectares. Tam Chuk Pagoda is said to be the largest in the world, only occupies 144 hectares compared to the area assigned to the investor up to 100 hectares 450 hertz wide casket project, while the spiritual area only occupies 88.7 hectares. According to the plan here, there will be a 150-meter high statue of Sakyamuni Buddha and a 108-hectare reception service area for a service area with a 5-star hotel and especially casino and sun golf. But in 2019, this project was closed in these spiritual tourist areas. Everywhere is a place to collect money. People come to visit the temple. It's no different than having to go to a business's bot station and having to buy an entrance ticket and pay for many services in Buddhism. Thousands of years of tradition, pagodas, which are spaces for monks and nuns to practice pure practice, to hear the sound of temple bells in the morning and the sound of wooden gongs at sunset. Read Buddhist scriptures under the flickering light. Pagoda is also a place to people from all walks of life. Come to the retreat to find peace and worship there. Practicing practice requires a pure heart. Don't pursue anything. Worship. There also needs to be a serious and dignified environment. However, the temples have been turned into tourist attractions for economic benefit, become a spiritual trading floor, and monks become service providers, which is to worship SAO, to relieve the curse and pray for peace. Funeral remembrance. Praying for the dead to go to the pagoda is not available in Buddhist teachings. Buddha taught must keep the precepts, but many people have become monks properly. Unlike Mr. Minh Tue, if you have not been certified, you cannot keep the precepts a section of abbots now. No different than a business owner know how to raise capital, know how to set prices, know how to invite investment. They interact with all kinds of people with a world of power and wealth. Most of the time is occupied by reception's guest. There is no time left to practice and deal with work. That's why there are famous scandals related to money. The world of form is like the liberation at the Golden Temple, or the case of Venerable Thich Minh Tue, invite real estate investment and soliciting sex from reporters. The appearance of Master Minh Tue is like a clear stream, cool and fresh amidst polluted rivers and lakes, should be welcomed and respected by many people. We can understand that mentality, but look at the nature of the problem. Mr. Minh Tue is not a living Buddha. He himself said he was just a person learning Try to live according to Buddha's teachings. He did not dare to accept being a teacher or to teach AI. Then we must respect that by a person on the path of spiritual practice. You need to stay away from noise. Please leave it alone. Let him study. Don't go anywhere. The people secretly dragged Theo there, including many YouTubers and TikTokers, following him filming or recording. I don't know how truly religious they are, or just want to take advantage of his image to attract views and gain popularity. Furthermore, it is also impossible to assert that in an extreme way, only Mr. Minh Tue is a true monk. As we said, alms beggar ministry is a familiar tradition in Buddhism. There are many other monks who are also practicing the same. They just don't care, and land spreads online like Mr. Minh Tue. Not even just walking, there is also a school of 3 sets of one worship, that is, 3 steps and 1 bow. Best practice: worship every step 1 bow. Vietnam is no stranger sometimes. We still meet monks walking and bowing above root Venerable Thich. Tam Man once wrote during the journey, 1 set, 1 worship throughout Vietnam. During the past 4 years, the monk walked 1,800 kilometers and bowed 3,000 times. Compared to what many people say then, is Mr. Minh Tue as truly a monk as you like Tam Man? Or monks in temples do labor the hard work of saving sentient beings and preserve spiritual traditions, morality for the nation for many years? Is it not true practice? Buddhists only practice at home. Do good deeds. Do not do evil. Maybe it's not genuine. So what is practice? Where is true practice like practicing in the church? Respecting your father and mother is true practice self. I respect individuals and practices by Mr. Minh Tue, but that is not the only practice. Each person has a way to practice samadhi. There is Buddha at heart and can also be true practice.